It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the St. Oliver's head cross-country coach, Coach Erica Maker. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college track and field and cross-country?
Yeah, I don't think I probably took a traditional route. I was planning to go a totally different direction with my life once I graduated college and got a really neat opportunity to volunteer coach just for something else to do as I was trying to figure things out, and absolutely fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with being with the young athletes, working with some great coaches, head coaches, assistant coaches. And after that 1 year was over, I knew that was the field I probably wanted to pursue. So I ended up getting an opportunity to coach at Northwestern University because they lost their assistant coach a week before the season started. So I was just at the right place in the right time, and was able to step in there and work with a great female coach, Amy Tush, and she let me be really hands-on and really get in there, and again continue to fall in love with it, and decide to make that my full-time career a couple of years later.
What was that experience like going through college and getting to compete in cross-country?
Yeah, so I'm a 2004 St. Olaf grad. So back in the day, I didn't really know that you could go to college and compete at that level. I thought you had to have a scholarship, right? Nobody ever told me that that was going to be an opportunity. So I chose St. Olaf basically just on academics and not knowing I would have this experience. I was lucky when I got here. I met some of the athletes, and they said, "Come join," and that ended up being the best decision of my life. I made some of my best friends on the team, and was able to be coached by Chris Damont. She's a Hall of Fame coach. She started this program here at St. Olaf, so it was really neat to again have a female coach to work under. I'd never had that before, and I'm just very blessed that I even got the opportunity, because that was not on my radar when I started my college life. And thankfully, the consistency of being able to train cross country, indoor and outdoor track, I was able to make some great strides in my own running that I hadn't, the potential I hadn't reached in high school. So it was neat to be able to continue that.
What was that experience like for you getting to walk on to the program and getting to compete?
Yeah, so back in the day, a lot of people walked on. It's not that case anymore, right? You have to, be recruited and meet with coaches and see if it's a good fit. I was a little scared, to be honest. I didn't know what to expect. To think that I'd be a college runner, that seemed really intimidating. One of the things I love about cross country and track and field, it's a very family oriented feel, right? Everyone gets to compete and everyone gets to train together. So there's no one sitting on a bench or anything like that. We all get the opportunities to perform and to see what we're capable of individually and as a team. So for me, it was a really special experience. I felt like I was a part of something, and I'd had that experience in high school and loved it. And now I got to continue that on for several more years in college. So again, it was an unexpected uh, opportunity that I had, but I'm so glad I was able to take it, and that Chris was willing to take a risk on someone she didn't know much about, say, hey, come on in. And so I was able to be on some really good teams and win some conference championships and go to nationals. And that's just something, again, that was never on my radar, and it's really one of the most memorable things about my college experience.
How was that experience like getting to put on that uniform for them and representing the college?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize how special that would be. Um, yeah, I go to St. Olaf, and I'm proud of the school that I go to, but when you put on that uniform, especially when you're running with such a great group of women who all have the same goal, I was proud to put that on. And we like to wear bright colors back in the day. We were wearing neon yellow and pink and blue, and we always stood out in a crowd, and we were proud to do that because we were just proud of our group and our team and what we felt felt confident in what we could accomplish. So um, those really being the things an athlete.
How was that experience like after college, getting into coaching and first going to Northwestern?
Yeah, intimidating. I was shy. I mean, the athletes are only a couple years younger than me, and so who am I to be telling them what to do? I was very shy. I probably should have spoken up at more times, but I was learning. I was learning a lot in a very short period of time, and very grateful that the young women that I was working with were understanding that I also was learning. I was a leader, but I was also still a student myself, and learning as I went along. So we had a nice close relationship. I was younger and closer to age in them. I could relate. I'd just been through the process of being a college athlete, so that was really helpful. And that was a unique time for me. I really learned to find my voice and use it. And you know, each year I felt more confident in what I was telling my team to do.
While at Trinity, what was that experience like coaching both the track and field and cross country?
Yeah, other than Northwestern, I've always coached cross country and track and field at all my stops. So I do think that it's really valuable to have a cross country and track and field program for the continuity and the training and competition and seeing that growth. It's certainly not the most necessary thing, but it certainly helps. And you know, Trinity was a special place. When I walked in there, the first thing the students did was give me a shirt with a Texas flag, an actual Texas flag, a mug with the Texas flag. They were very Texas proud and were excited to welcome me into the state and into the college. And that was just a cool experience. I'd never seen that kind of camaraderie. I've seen it for the school, but certainly not just for the state. They were really proud Texans, and it was kind of fun to have them show me around. Texas is very different from any of the stops I've made previously. So I learned from them too of places to run, and man, you got to run in the early morning or you're not going to survive. So we're practicing at 6:30 in the morning, and you know, it's a bit of a transition, but really fun. And we were able to have an indoor track season that year, which in Texas is unique because they don't have a lot of indoor tracks. It's usually very warm there. So it was neat to introduce that to them because that had been something that they had previously not experienced. So being able to take them to indoor track meets around the country, and so that they could, some of the kids had never seen snow before, so that was kind of fun. Just we learned from each other.
During your time at Williams College, what were some of the things that you were able to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, that program was already had a very rich tradition. Wonderful head coach Pete Farwell, who you know, has been with the program, just recently retired, Hall of Fame coach. Lots of success there. Oh man, I learned so much from him. He's one of my, you know, best mentors I've ever had. We were able to accomplish a lot. We were on the podium a lot. It was fun to work with that caliber of an athlete, but also a high caliber student. It's really hard to get into Williams College, so for them to, you know, get in academically and then be such elite athletes on top of that, that was a really cool opportunity to work with that kind of level athlete. I see that here at St. Olaf as well, but it's the first time I really got to see all of it kind of combined and being able to do the 3 seasons, both genders, just with a high level, high caliber student athlete. It's some of my best memories, and I met my husband there. So, you know, there's lots of fond memories of Williamstown, Massachusetts.
Going to Vassar College, what was that experience like getting to coach both track and field and cross country?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to coach cross country at Vassar. I only got to do their outdoor track season. They didn't have indoor track at the time. I'm glad they've added it since, but again, another high caliber student athlete. By then I had felt pretty confident in how I could coach that student. So my time at Williams helped prepare me for that. Really felt I could connect with the student athletes there, and they were excited to have a female coach. They had wonderful male coaches who were super supportive of them, but it's always neat to throw something different in there. And, you know, they all embraced me, coaches and athletes. I was going through a very difficult time when I started there. We just unfortunately lost our son, and they embraced us, and just let me come in and do what I love doing. And I really appreciate that opportunity because, again, another unexpected opportunity to come in and coach a really high caliber student athlete.
Going to Marist College, what was that experience like coaching on the Division I level?
Yeah, so obviously I'd had some Division I level experience at Northwestern. Division I adds in the scholarship aspect, which is unique. I think at Marist it was very helpful. We could get in a really nice student athlete, well-rounded, right? Marist is a very good college. So again, I got to work with a high caliber student athlete, which I was at that time very comfortable with doing. And being able to recruit those kids and give them some money to run, that was exciting. And it's really exciting to see the families when they are offered a scholarship and how grateful they are and excited they are. That was a unique edge to it that I didn't have at some of my previous stops. But that also comes with expectation, right? And so, I hope that we always made them students first, because I do believe in that. But obviously we had some expectations of their performance and helping them to, grow as athletes, but also realize it's not the only thing that they need to grow in, and they got to be a full-rounded person and take advantage of some of the opportunities that college has to offer. I hope that I created a balance for those student athletes who had to compete at D1, but also, are just like any other student. They want to have all the experiences.
What were some of the things that you were able to accomplish at Marist College?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had some of our top conference finishes while I was there, and certainly top regional finishes in the school's history. I'm not sure how many records we broke on the record board, but it was quite a few, and that was really exciting to see, especially on the women's side. Again, I have a soft spot for female athletes and how far they've come. And so it was really great to see some of those records go down. And again, working under some incredible head coaches that allowed me to grow as a coach and gave me the opportunity to try new things. And thankfully, a lot of those new things served our athletes well. And I also just loved working with both genders again. I've always enjoyed coaching the men as well. It's very different coaching both genders, but each one has its unique traits that I really enjoy working with.
Throughout your time of coaching, what has it been like coaching on the Division I level versus Division III level?
I, again, have been very fortunate to work at Division I institutions that believe in the student athlete in that order. I know that's not always the case. So while there is some expectation at the D1 level that athletics, you build your schedule around your athletics versus the D3 model where, athletics, you fit that in around your academics. I do feel we were able to accomplish that at both the D1 and D3 level so that they were able to take part in all the experiences that the college had to offer. So, there's more at stake. Certainly they like to see wins on the D1 side. D3 does too, but maybe your job's not on the line for it. It's nice to have a little. I'm free to allow them to be student athletes. And again, I worked at institutions that allowed me to do that at D1, but I know that's not the case everywhere. So I think that would be really the difference of, running is important at D3 level and D1 level, but you don't have a choice of choosing one or the other from at various times of the day or year or whatever it might be, because you're getting paid for that. So yeah, a little different. But I've enjoyed both levels. They both have their perks.
What was that feeling like when you got your call back from your alma mater to join the coaching staff and become the head cross country coach?
Never ever on my radar. I never thought Chris Damon would ever leave. So she is wonderful. And just again, she built this program, and I'm only the second coach in this program's history. So I was honored to be able to take over for her, and very scared because again, she's a Hall of Fame coach. And you don't want to follow someone who's done a really good job, because then the stakes are high. So I took this job knowing, oh man, I gotta be on my A game from day one, because I got big shoes to fill. So as exciting as it was to come back to my alma mater, there was certainly some apprehension of coming in and taking over for her. I think it's been a great partnership. Chris still lives in town. Chris Daymont still lives in town and will stop by from time to time. She's a huge supporter of our program still. And, it's just neat. It's neat to have all these wonderful, accomplished coaches still in the area that are cheering us on. So I feel really grateful that I have that kind of support from both her and our alumni group.
Of course, taking over the program. What was that like taking over the program and becoming, as you said, the second coach in history?
Yeah, I mean, Chris had prepared them well for the transition, so it wasn't a surprise. It's not like a coach leaving for another job, unexpectedly. So they had had some time to prepare, and I think they were very open to this transition in the life of our program. So I felt very welcome coming in and very supported by the athletes and the administration here. They were excited to have somebody who knew St. Olaf's program, knew the tradition of it and how it all began and was a part of it at one point, but also had had a lot of different experiences at other institutions that I could bring in and put my own stamp on the program and help it continue to rise to new levels. So yes, intimidating as it was a really unique and special opportunity that I definitely didn't want to pass up.
How was that feeling like the first time you got to step onto the horses for St. Olaf as a head coach?
I was terrified. I didn't want to let him down. Our first meet, I was like, oh my goodness, we got to beat the teams we're supposed to beat, or this is going to be so awful. And I was a nervous wreck. Wouldn't let the athletes see it, hopefully. But I was scared. Every meet I went into, I was just, oh man, we just got to do as well as we're supposed to. The way that St. Olaf always performs, we got to perform the way we're used to. And have I prepared them right? A lot of second guessing. It's a lot easier to be an assistant coach and have that confidence than when it's on your shoulders, it's a little different. So I will say the first year I was probably very tense and anxious in my head, at least. Hopefully I wasn't outwardly, but as the years have gone on, obviously I'm excited where the program is right now. I feel, my athletes have bought in, great, recruits have come through, and we're on a good trend here, and I'm excited for that.
For you, what does a typical cross country meet look like for you as a coach versus for your athletes?
Oh, geez. Obviously there's prep work, right? Especially because we get to host a lot. We have a beautiful course here at St. Olaf, one of the best in the country, and we've hosted the national championship on it. So preparing that course, making sure that it's, championship ready. We're very proud of it. We want to be one of the best courses in the country all the time. So I have a lot of, background work that I have to do leading up to the meet. It actually helps me, right? If I have to do some manual labor, it helps keep my mind free and, from all the anxiety of performing in the race. But on race day, the prep, we do it together. We do some things called positive visualization where we visualize how we want to race it, how we want to feel. We're doing warm-ups together. We're doing everything together in prep because we're all in this together, whether it's, actually running the race as my athletes do, or being on the sidelines coaching them. We all have a stake in it and we've all done a lot of work to get to that point. So it's a group effort. And so hopefully we're preparing, we're doing everything as much as possible together because we're stronger together. So while I have a lot of the, little nuances behind the scenes, I hope that, we feel like one unit on race day.
How's it been like obviously getting to host championships on your course?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I love hosting. We have a great grounds crew that helps keep our course beautiful. I'm proud of it. Love hosting major championships. We did host the high school state meet for 30 something years, up until last year. So we've been able to showcase our course a lot, and it's an advantage to our student athletes to be able to run on there. They get to train on there and they get to know the nuances of it, and they're able to use that to their advantage on race day. And I think they feel more confident, right, running on something that they know really well.
Who are some of the teams that you faced in your conference?
Yeah, we're part of the MIAC conference, so the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. So a lot of Minnesota schools. Currently, one of our biggest rivals, obviously, is Carleton College, which is a college right across the river in our same town of Northfield. So it's kind of neat to have an in-town rival that's also really competitive. They've had a great program. They just won a national championship. So, it's neat to go against that. I want to put our team up against the best. So it's nice to have that in our conference and right nearby. But obviously, all of our conference schools bring in a lot of really great talent. The national champion was just from St. Ben's, up in the north there. So this is a really great area of the country for distance running, and we're excited that we're in the right spot. We're a part of it, just even in our conference level.
What is that home game atmosphere like versus going to Carleton and playing away?
Yeah, I mean, we both have, again, championship level courses that you can host the national championship on. So we get a good crowd. It's nice to see everyone come out. And because we're in the same town, if you go to Carleton, you come over to St. Olaf. And if you are at St. Olaf, you go over to Carleton. And so you almost always have almost a home advantage in either way. So, for both of our schools. It's really neat to see other sports come out. That's one of the things I know, at least at St. Olaf, they do really well. We've got all the other teams, athletes out cheering for our kids because our athletic department is quite tight knit. And it's neat to see that, right? Other students cheering on our athletes as they race. And then obviously we have a great alumni group. They will come, they will travel, they'll come to Carleton, they'll go to St. Olaf and cheer them on. And they know all the previous runners from Carleton, right? That'll come out and cheer on for Carleton. So the rivalry is really awesome, but also the fact that we both have great, you know, courses to be able to compete on, it just enhances the experience.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you built for the cross country program at St. Olaf?
Yeah, again, I got very lucky to step into a role where, there was good culture here. And while it shifts from team to team of, what's important and what we value and what have you, I think the principal stuff stays the same. And that is being supportive of each of your teammates, encouraging them. It doesn't mean we're not competitive. We certainly are, but not in a bad way, right? We want each of us to reach our potential, because if we do that, then we're going to be a better team. And so really focusing on that team first idea, because we are considered an individual sport, right? Everyone's going for their own bests and wanting to be in that top 7 if they can be. But I think we have a good balance of where we're working towards that. Every athlete is working towards that, but we recognize that all 30 athletes can't be in the top 7. And so we're gonna each do our best to support the team in one way or the other, whether it's on the point side, as a leader, as a really great training partner, whatever it might be. There's a place for everyone that's on the team here.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes? And as a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Yeah, we have a little bit of a range on our team. There are 2 things that I really want to make sure a recruit has before we even kind of get too deep into the process. And one is, I want to know that they love running. They want to, continue training and they love it. It's a passion of theirs. But then the second thing is, I want to know that they want to have a competitive experience, right? That's what separates us from a running club, which we definitely do still have here at St. Olaf, right? We are aiming to do something together as a team, and they have to want to have that experience. So if they say yes to both of those and they're really excited about both of those, then, we continue on in that conversation. And, I can't take everybody. I wish I could. There's so many young women who want to run at this level, and, I have only so many resources and, ability to take so many, but, part of it is making sure that they, fit in, from a performance standpoint, right? I have some developmental athletes, but we feel that they're going to, move in the right direction. And I also have kids who are already, high level. So making sure that they can kind of fit within that group somewhere. So they'll have training partners and really feel like they're, making progress. That's important as well. And while I wish, again, I could take everybody, and because I think we could always make people better, there is that competitive side that's still a part of it.
What is it like seeing those prospective student athletes fall in love with that top tier facility that you have for your cross country?
Yeah, it's a huge selling point in the recruiting process. Anyone who walks on our cross country course or comes and sees our indoor track, especially, that's a really unique feature for some schools. And then our outdoor track facility, gosh, if I can get them on campus and see where they're going to run, they fall in love immediately. There's not a lot out there to rival having all those 3 facilities at one institution. So it's a huge advantage. It's an advantage from a training standpoint. We're in Minnesota, so it gets cold here. Sometimes it's too dangerous to run outside. And so we are able to continue our training at a high level thanks to our indoor facility, and, just the ability to keep going when conditions aren't that great.
Of course, as you talked about that, being in Minnesota and it's cold, what is that like getting to train indoors to compete?
Yeah, indoor season, very different than outdoor track season. Yes, it's both track and you're running in a circle, but they're two very different circles and very different environments, very different atmospheres. So yeah, you're learning kind of a new skill as you go along. So while we do still like to run outdoors, even when it's cold, you do have to do some indoor work to prepare for that on race day. So again, we're doing our workouts indoors, and it takes a little time for some of the athletes to adjust to the air quality, which we actually have really good air quality. So it doesn't hopefully take too long, but just the tighter turns on the track. And sometimes even the different events that indoor track has versus outdoor track. So it's a learning experience. But I will say that the first years who come into our program, they love indoor track because it's so different than what they've done in the past. It is track still, but there's just a different feel and a different rhythm of it.
As a coach and alma mater, what is it like getting to see those athletes put on that jersey for the first time?
Yeah, it's special because it's something they're going to remember their whole lives. And this experience is actually going to be one of the most memorable experiences of their life. And knowing that before they even know it, as they prepare for their first meets or their first practice or whatever it might be, it just kind of makes me smile because I know how important this experience or how, impactful this experience is going to be for them before they even realize that they're in it. So I feel it's a special opportunity and not everybody gets it. So, the fact that they're here, they're running under our uniform, they're going to be a part of a tradition that's very long standing. They're going to write a chapter in our book, and that's special from year to year.
What is it like getting to see them put on that uniform for the last time representing the school?
I try not to get too emotional about that. I tell them not to think of it. They are putting on their uniform maybe for the last time to compete collegiately. But one of the traditions I have here at St. Olaf is I actually gift them an alumni jersey. So they have a St. Olaf alumni jersey when they graduate, and I expect them to wear it on all their further racing endeavors after they graduate. So while they are taking off maybe one uniform for the last time, they're going to continue to put on the St. Olaf uniform even after they graduate from here. So it's a never-ending thing. I don't want them to think that this opportunity is over. Running is one of those really unique sports where even after you graduate and you're not a part of a team necessarily, you can continue to still do it. So
What are some of your future plans for the St. Olaf's cross country program moving forward?
we want to see how many championships we can win. We want to, be the best we can possibly be. And hopefully that does mean championships at the conference, regional, and national level. We're always going to strive to just be the best team we possibly can be and to do it the right way. We're not going to take shortcuts. We're not going to cut corners. We're going to be healthy. We're going to do things smart. We're going to look long term. And we're going to continue to recruit high-level student athletes that are just excited and grateful for the opportunity to be here and be part of something special.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college cross country?
Yeah, first years always have a lot of expectations of their experience right away. And sometimes it happens, and sometimes it takes a little while to develop. So be patient, embrace the process. Some people will adjust faster than others, but if you really do believe in what you're doing training wise and you stay healthy, healthy being the most important thing, you will be able to make those jumps at some point throughout your 4 years. So, don't try to do it all at once, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, and there's 4 years to continue to get better and better, and hopefully that's the trend that each student athlete that comes into this program sees.
What advice would you give those athletes looking to go represent Team USA or Canada on the national team or even at the Olympics?
Yeah, that's a huge that is huge to be able to do something like that. I've not worked with that kind of caliber athlete very often, but the few that I have not started out that way. They have not thought that direction. They have just wanted to do everything possible to get better and better. And then it's kind of organically happened, right? That they are at a level where they can then start to think about it. So again, don't put second things first, right? Keep continuing to do the best that you possibly can. Have those goals and a path to reach them, but be flexible with that because hardly any path is actually linear. And so sometimes we do take some setbacks. That doesn't mean the goal is dead. But work with what you have. And obviously, there are so many wonderful resources out there now for runners. When you have the opportunity to work with a good coach or a good group, take advantage of that and definitely embrace that opportunity.
What advice would you give those runners out there that are looking to get started in coaching, whether it be at their alma mater or being assistant coaches or head coaches?
I would love to see a lot more young women going this route in coaching. I'd love to see a more head women coaches in this sport. It is a hard field, cross country, indoor, outdoor track. It's never ending. And then you're recruiting year round. So I guess, understanding that it is not a 9 to 5, and it's certainly, it takes a lot out of you, but it's very rewarding at the same time. So, jump in with both feet, but have reasonable expectations that, there will be some sacrifices that need to be made along the way. Hopefully you feel that it's worth it and want to continue with it. And then also just get in touch with other coaches. Believe it or not, I love it when young men and women contact me and just ask about coaching, or do I know of any opportunities? I want to help those people. So know that, the coaches in cross country and track and field especially are really excited to help the younger generation get into coaching and to stay in coaching. So don't be hesitant to reach out to anyone, because I'm sure you'll get a response.
What advices would you give those head coaches looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Believe in what you're doing, really believe in your philosophy, believe in your training, but always be a student learning as well. As much as I feel really confident in what we're doing, I'm constantly shifting things around, either based on the personnel I have or things I've learned. I never want to stop being a student of the sport. So I am confident in what we're doing, but I'm always willing to be like, yeah, actually, that's kind of a good idea. Let's give it a shot. So if you're trying to build something, have those concrete, principles there for sure, but be willing to build on some extensions too.
What advice would you give those coaches looking to coach at their alma mater like you have?
You got to be at the right place at the right time for that one. And I just happen to be, but certainly stay connected with your program. I love that we have over 1,000 women alumni of this program alone. So, stay connected. If you'd ever wanted to go back to your alma mater, stay connected with not only the current students and your former student athletes, but also the coaching staff. Get to know them and support them. Go out to the meets. I love seeing alumni out there, and some of our alumni are coaching, not necessarily always at the high collegiate level, but they're out there and they're working with high school groups, and it's neat to make those connections. And maybe one day they will decide to go into coaching at the collegiate level.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program at?
Yeah, so we are on Instagram and Facebook. It's St. Olaf WXCTF, I believe it is. I do not do any social media myself, but we certainly post all of our things related to our programs and our alumni and what have you on our Instagram and Facebook accounts.
Thank you again, Coach Erica Maker, for your interview, and best luck in your future at St. Olaf's as the head cross country coach.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Erica, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.